On today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about why I think safety should be your number one priority and that we should be proactive and not friggin' lazy. Enjoy. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Welcome to you if you're in YouTube land. My name's Max, I'm your host. I am the ambitious founder at elitebusinessadvisory.com, where we specialise in business coaching for general contractors and residential home builders. Great to have you with us in the house today. As usual, we expect that you're going to get something positive out of this and that you can implement in your business straight away and make it better. Okay, don't forget, get across to Business for Builders VIP, good community. Don't be afraid to ask questions. No egos in the room over there, folks. If you've got something that you can add value to another human, please do it. Don't forget, one of these drops every week. Like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, drop some comments below and I'll look to get back to those ASAP. And if you've got something on your mind you want to hit me with, max at elitebusinessadvisory.com, and I will get back to you in due process. What else have I got? That's probably about the long and the short. Not really good at housekeeping, but that's about it. So look, today is going to be a bit of a quick one, but we talk about building business, scaling up business, growing teams, making more money, having a better lifestyle. But the one thing that I keep impress upon builders in general is that if you don't pay attention to safety on your building sites, it will bite you in the ass. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And so I'm just going to run through a few details as it relates to just to jog your memory, just a quick prompt. Hey, this is what I would recommend. This is what I do on my job sites. Okay, for me, I don't want all of my hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to end up where somebody has gotten hurt or worse, and then it puts me in a position financially that I can't recover from, because I'm telling you that is exactly what can happen. So guys and gals, you're going to work hard, learn the trade, get your builder's license, start to develop a business, focus on systems, getting leads, good advertising and marketing and recruiting well, and, having those accountability measures in place in and around your business. But what happens is site safety only becomes an issue when there's an issue, and then it's too late. Okay, so I'm just here to try and give your head a bit of a shake and say, hey guys and gals, if you are serious about longevity within your business, like anything else we do, we need to pay attention to it. And like it says on the board, you need to be proactive, and it needs to be priority number one. Okay, let's have a quick chat. Right, so basically, you don't want to be just ticking a box. It's essential for the well-being of your team and the success of your business. Okay, we'll just quickly chat about how to be proactive. A safe work environment minimizes accidents, ensures legal compliance, and ultimately increases your profit by reducing insurance premiums, downtime, and workers' compensation claims. Right, so on the board, I've just got a couple of major points. Okay, and a couple of dot points to go with them. So why is safety critical for builders and general contractors? Construction sites are inherently dangerous with risks of injury from equipment, falls, and environmental factors. You've only got to watch YouTube, and of course there's reels and reels and reels of workplace accidents, which is kind of, yes, it's very serious. It's not funny, but it is if nobody gets hurt, because it needs to be that moment in time where you go, that could happen to me. We've seen everything from, cranes fall over into pits and all kinds of stuff. You've seen it. I've seen it. We need to pay attention, because if we don't take it seriously, the business of safety within our business, it could bring all of our hard work down pretty quick. So there are legal and financial consequences of neglecting safety. So we're talking lawsuits, fines, and of course a damaged reputation. Right, so the next thing there is safety. So your key safety practices for general contractors. So we want to develop a safety program, right? That includes clear policies on personal protective equipment, equipment handling, fall protection, and hazard reporting. I remember, I am old enough, now you may not be, but I am old enough to know that fall protection was not even talked about You know what? I don't think I remember at college when I went through what we call TAFE in those days, as a carpentry apprenticeship, safety I don't think was that big a deal. It wasn't emphasised. It might have been talked about a little bit, but it certainly doesn't stick in my mind that they rammed it down our necks. Okay, so maybe that's my job here today. And certainly once we got out on building sites, I don't remember my boss ever really doing a safety course or training or at a toolbox talk or anything like that. The culture was fairly laxy-daisy to the point where a carpenter that I worked under for the longest time, let's call him Mick, he actually fell about 12 feet and he fell off of some carpentry built scaffold, so it was wood with aluminium or aluminum planks, and he fell on his back over a pallet of bricks. Okay, so I was too young to understand the business ramifications to that, and maybe if I went and talked to Mick and or my old boss and said, hey, what actually happened with that situation? But he was off work for 12 months, so it was bad, right? So regular safety training. And you know, I think I'll make a point here in a minute. Ensure that all workers are regularly trained on safety protocols and that safety is a company-wide culture, not just a rule. This is what I find. People think that I'm trying to implement these policies and procedures because they've got to adhere to the rules. Mate, it's not about, and this is when I'm talking, now I'm just talking to trades and everything. I'm saying, mate, look, I'm asking you to do this because I want you to go home safely to your family, just like I want to go safely home to my family. Okay? So it's my building site, and this is where you've got to get a bit of firmness with courtesy. I say, look, it's my building site. That's a trip hazard. That needs to have signage put up. That needs to have some barriers around it. It needs to have some hoarding or something. Now, it's your attitude towards safety. So if, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, recruiting good talent and having good team members, that would make them a cultural misfit if they don't pay attention to safety at the level that I do. So guess what? The speed of the leader determines speed of the pack. If I am dismissive of safety policies, what I'm doing is encouraging everybody on that site to be dismissive of a safety culture at a high level. And unfortunately, the risk isn't on them. The noose is around my neck and the box is under my feet if I'm the general contractor or the principal contractor or the builder. Okay? So I need you to really consider your building sites. I would encourage you to do an audit today or tomorrow and go around and do an assessment, do a risk assessment. Is there anything that if a workplace health and safety officer walked on site right now, I would get dinged? Now, when I'm doing an estimate for a homeowner, one of the first lines or one of the first categories in my estimate is site establishment. Depending on the project, it could include, things like safety fencing around the project. Because I don't need stray dogs and freaking stray local homeowners to walk in on my job site and fall down a plumbing trench or what have you. So I've got to have, to me, I look at the job and I go, right, I need some perimeter fencing. I need to make sure that there's a chain on there, that everyone's got what I'd call a construction key for that padlock, let's say. So there, and then signage that goes on, everyone stay out, keep out signs posted on every panel. I was chatting with a client last week about this, and he had some issues with homeowners' family running onto the building site while they're doing demolition. And he said, I went and bought 40 signs and pinned them on the friggin' fences saying keep out, demolition underway, or construction site, keep out. And so the caveat is that I understand you're saying, well, Max, I can't control everybody. And I'm like, you're absolutely 100% correct. You're preaching to the choir. I know that you can't, okay? But you've got to be putting in the safety practices because at the end of the day, your only defense in the event of an accident is that you showed a duty of care as a builder, that you had safety policies and procedures in place to give everyone the best chance of staying and keeping safe on your building site. If they failed to observe those signages and processes, etc., that then is a good defense for you, the builder, to highlight the fact that we did everything we could, short of chaining you or roping you and dragging you off the building site, okay? Right, so safety program, obviously regular safety training. It's a company-wide culture. This is not just rules, we talked about that. Then what I need you to do is to get into the habit of undertaking site inspections and risk assessments like I just talked about as well. So what we need to do is that routines and habits, and it becomes second nature. Because what we're trying to do is instill in our team, whether it be subcontractors, suppliers, clients, or our own on-payroll team, that safety is priority number one. That it must come above everything else, because if we don't observe those and something goes awry, then basically none of us really have a job, especially not on that project, that is for sure. So site inspections, risk assessments, audits, okay? We need to conduct daily site inspections. And what that means is, let's say I've got projects happening 700 Ks away. What I need to do is make sure that my general manager, my construction manager in this case, that we are on the same wavelength when it comes to safety, okay? He'll be he will not be confused that if there is something that's unsafe that I need to know about, that I need to address, I need a picture right now. Like, interrupt me. That's how important it is to me. So we've got to conduct daily site inspections to identify hazards before they become problems, and create a checklist to ensure all workers adhere to safety protocols and that equipment is functioning properly. Now, one suggestion that I would make is that if there is something that's on site, okay, now I need you to just go work with me here. If there is something on site, let's say on one of my sites, there will be a QR code about that big. It'll be like, report a safety issue. Okay, and that will be run through. That will be not just a piece of paper, okay, but it'll be inside of a sleeve that's waterproof, and that will be report a safety issue. QR code that will go to a Google form, and they can quickly fill out where the deficiency are, what the concerns are. They can upload files, hit submit. Takes like 3 minutes. Okay, that's what I want to see, because that then forms part of my action to go forward and have that resolved, right? So that's a safety culture, but I've got to start creating the atmosphere that it is right for you. And even if you say to me, hey, I just want to report this to make sure that we're all on the same wavelength, like, that's cool. I would rather go, okay, that's under control now. We got that sorted pretty quick. Or they can send that information to me and I can give them direct instruction to go and remedy that safety issue. Right? And so that now becomes, obviously that's one step further beyond a checklist. It's like, right, this is what we look at. This is the culture of the safety culture that's within our company. And then of course, if they're out on site and they can't get to me, they can report that issue. Now, for them, that's a safety mechanism for them, because they can no longer be accused. They've identified it, they've reported it to management, they're off the hook. They can never be dragged in. And so there's safety for them in that regard, okay? So that's, if you've got any questions about that and you're like, Max, how do I do a Google form and how do I set up a QR code? It's all in the Google Suite. It's easy to do. And maybe I should do another video on that somewhere and attach that as well. Right, building a safety first culture, we just talked about that. Okay, so I just want you to know as a builder, the foundational defense that you will have, that your legal counsel, and I'm not your lawyer, this doesn't constitute legal advice, it's my 2 bobs worth. I'm just sharing with you what I think is a thing, okay? But I need you to go and talk to your legal counsel and understand this at a granular or a very a micro detail. Okay, duty of care, it's the foundational defense. See, what happens is there's lots of other defense, okay? But if you can't show a duty of care, all of the other defensive mechanisms around safety become irrelevant. I need you to go and at least investigate this. You need to understand safety and all of the diverse parts of safety, like you understand how to pour a concrete slab and all of the reinforcing that goes into it and building a frame. That's the kind of understanding and detail. You need to ensure that you're taking this seriously, because if you don't, you are going to get caught one day and you're going to be way behind the 8 ball. okay? And it's going to devastate your business, right? So building a safety first culture, it involves a couple of things. Encourage workers, like I just talked about, report safety concerns. Right, so that's an idea. We need you to report safety concerns. Right, you as the builder, how are you deploying that across your organization? I just showed you, okay? We put that document, we pin it to the safety board, and if there's a safety concern, that QR code will take them to a Google form and they can fill it out. Now, what is something better than that, perhaps? Now, that's a very, what I would call budget-friendly, entry level, right? Easy to get to. It's okay. What we've got over here, SiteDocs.com, is a company that Smith & Sons have a relationship with, and it is a powerful site safety portal or platform. Now, yes, it's a couple of $100 a month. So that's where I'm saying to you, go and investigate that. And until such time as you need something that is very, it's got geotags on it, it's a very competent piece of software or an app, let's call it. Until you can get there financially, the interim or a stepping stone to that will be something along the lines of a QR code with a form that's built in the background that ends up in your inbox. When you get that email, you can then slide that email into or underneath the safety aspects on that client file. And of course, if you're not creating files on the left-hand side of your email or somewhere to keep your emails all together and organized, that's something you need to, step up and do as well. So the other thing you can do is incentivize safe behavior. So if somebody comes to me with a legitimate safety concern, they've got my back. They're looking out for me and my company. And so I might say to them, look, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate the insight. Here's a 2-for-1 meal deal at Mr. Mike's Steakhouse or whatever, because that's what I want. It's not like, this guy keeps reporting shit. It's like, dude, if it's legitimate, I'll say, I'll thank him for that. And here's a gift voucher or whatever. But if you're like, mate, you're jerking my chain, that's not a big deal, Like, it's important, but it's not deadly to my business or to anybody's safety, and they're just trying it on, I'll have that conversation with them as well. But I want to incentivize, so I want to reward safe work practices and punctual safety checks. Punctual and prompt. Like, don't take all day to do a risk assessment, bro. You got 20 minutes, go. Go clockwise around the job site, look up and down, left and right, and get it done. And obviously that's to create a positive safety culture. Make safety a part of your daily routine, from regular training, using those checklists. A safe job site leads to fewer accidents, better morale, and higher productivity, right? So guys, take a proactive approach, okay? It will be an inconvenience if you don't make it a priority, okay? So you either swallow the medicine up front, or you've got to go to hospital because, you've got a major incident and you've got some major shit to deal with, okay? So protect your business now, protect your future now, protect the well-being of your family's financial situation now by making safety a priority. You can get me, Max, at elitebusinessadvisory.com. Go across to elitebusinessadvisory.com if you're interested in just chatting with me. I'll give you a complimentary 30-minute consultation. We'll talk about your business. We'll chat about how coaching works. And if you want to really get started with me, then we can sort of work out what we can do after that. Other than that, 30 minutes with me, complimentary. And, it's a good investment of your time to see what's up. Go build a kick-ass business. See you on the next episode. Cheers.